Today on the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast, we are discussing She-Hulk, first season, 8th episode. Ribbit and rip it like a freaking frog. All that and more with said we have no control over.
Welcome to the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. My name is Matthew Carroll.
And I am Jeff Randall.
I'm Catherine Ray.
And I'm Ashley Coffin.
What?
We got a four-way!
Listen.
I mean...
Menage cuatro.
Quartet.
Yeah, I was trying to think of what word to use after four, and I didn't get there in time, and I don't like the one you chose.
My bad. I got really excited and I just went for it, but I see now that it was bad.
If only we could just start over and record again, but God, no, the technology.
Nope. Yeah,
Nope.
we don't.
We've come too far. We can't go back.
Plowing forward.
Every podcast you've ever heard from us has been just exactly how we said it. There's no editing at all.
Perfect.
Takes no
right
time.
from the get-go.
I don't know why Matt complains about the editing. there is none. Okay, so let's just get into it. I don't know. First off, I'm just happy to have you all here because it's just, we don't do 4-person podcasts that often because they take a little extra time to edit, but I just am happy to have every person here because this is such a big, exciting episode. So let's get into it, though. What are your... Catherine, you're the most guest here. What are your thoughts on this episode of She-Hulk?
10 out of 10. Perfect episode. Really hardly any no notes. This one was such a pleasure. I cannot believe next week is a finale, and I'm stoked to be here talking with y'all.
I'm sorry. I'm just going to jump in because I'm here. And I said before this show started, I was like, if Dee Dee shows up, I will be on that episode. And here I am. And it was literally everything that I wanted it to be and more and a lot more. And I saw myself and I got to be, when people say like, I got to see myself reflected in this, show, I felt like, yes, I would have done everything that she did. I'm really going to try to keep this PG. It's going to be hard. Who's next? I'm going to try to get my thoughts together.
I would have done everyone that she did.
Let's just skip everything and get to it. Yes, girl, May's leaving tomorrow.
I mean, we're all feeling this, right? It's not just me.
I was like the chemistry at the bar, even when they were having the lawyer off. Fan me.
To clutch my pearls.
I love it.
Like all that in the courtroom was really just foreplay. Like, it was absolutely just a dance.
And it was hot to watch.
And
well deserved. Like, you're for both of them. You're like, yes. Electricity, the chemistry. It was beautiful.
I love that she looked at the camera and was like, who the hell is this asshole? But then, like, she really got into it. Like, okay.
I feel like we often have these, like, things that we ship people in different like episodes or movies. Like, when Cap and Nat were hanging out, we're all like, "Ooh, she kissed him on the escalator." Ooh, like that.
No
would
one
work
is allowed to date Captain America but me.
Right. But they're just like both amazing and both like these spectacular characters and hot as hell. And you're like, they should absolutely get together, but they don't, of course. This is one of those situations where I'm like, I love them both. They both deserve the best. They both are the best. And I love that they got together. I love their like friendship that they made. And I do love that they got to get down. And I love the walk of shame. The walk of shame was amazing.
No shoes. You always put your shoes back on.
It didn't even look like he was ashamed. He was just like...
Nope. That was a walk of pride.
Yeah, it was a walk of pride, if anything. Like, he had his shoes off and he was in the grass. And I was like, Daredevil's sense of touch is like super heightened. So he's vibing right now. Like, he's walking barefoot through the grass, just like, oh, this is the best life. Oh, you won't believe what I just did.
Sunday morning.
Yep. Like, shoes tossed up over his shoulder, like, man, I don't even get a damn.
It is. It's like that She-Hulk sex is like a drug. Well, it was just Gen sex, I think. I don't know. I don't know what they did in the bedroom, but that Jen Walters sex was so good. It was like a drug, and he had to like just walk with his feet in the grass and feel the world afterwards.
And that Matt Murdock, PG, sex, was amazing for her too. She was very happy.
Yeah, it came to a satisfying conclusion. The only thing, I really have one note about this episode, and it's the fact that we did get technically naked Daredevil, but I didn't even get to see his knees. They started panning the camera up the legs.
Like, are they slow dancing in there?
And then they cut it, and I was like, that was not enough. That was simply, you started doing something really awesome, and then you just stopped. And I was like, why did they stop?
I kept looking for it. I was like, Catherine's going to be so happy when this happens, and then it didn't. And like, when I saw feet, I was like, here it is. And then they closed the door. I was like, Catherine, no!
I didn't get a single butt cheek. Come on.
Nope.
I thought if anyone's watching House of the Dragon, I thought they were going to have the whole like take his entire suit off, which would have just like taken tick-tock time. So I'm glad they didn't do that.
Delacing every little thing.
I was like, what are you guys doing? And then we closing the door. Nobody's here.
Nobody's here? He can't see it.
No.
Their suits like lying across the floor reminded me of some after Halloween party situations. You know what I mean? Sorry.
We got to meet Mustard Ketchup Daredevil at DragonCon.
That was such a good Daredevil, too.
And he said that he was working on that costume for 2 years, so he had no idea how relevant he actually was.
So
That's awesome for him.
So perfect. And now, like, anything he goes to, people are going to be like, Mustard and Ketchup Daredevil. And he's like, damn it.
Oh, God damn it. Speaking of Daredevil, it was like so good to see that Marvel Disney Plus money behind his action moves. Because like we got the Netflix money behind the series, but getting to see him do like the Daredevil stuff.
The Daredevil flips and all of it.
I was like yelling a lot during this episode. It was a lot of like, yes. I was like, work. It was, and Ken's like, what the hell is wrong with you? I was like, the money.
The money.
Look at it. He can do all the Daredevil stuff now. And and he stood his ground again. You know, she wasn't really trying. Well, actually, she did kind of try to kill him. She threw that car at him.
She did.
Property damage. She can't afford that car. I'm glad he brought that up.
This episode of way better She-Hulk CGI and the Daredevil stuff was flawless. When he's flipping down that thing, he absolutely looks like a real person flipping, even though he's doing these impossible things, which is what you want to see. And like, what I was impressed by is it maintained the fighting style of Daredevil while putting money behind it. So like when he's in the hallway fighting those dudes, it was awesome. And he even says there's 10 in the hallway and in the back hallway. And I was like, hallway? And then he gets in the hallway and the joke of him like getting ready to fight 7 dudes in the hallway and then She-Hulk smash was so good. It was so note perfect and so like a joke for us. And I just love it. I love it so much.
I feel like so many things in this episode between the two of them was just jokes for us. Like it was all for us. When his music played, when the music from the show played, I was like,
he said,
I was like, you got the rights to that too?
Yeah. Like I froze, like my heart seized. I was like, oh my God, yes, they're acknowledging it.
Record scratch. She's like, who?
Who?
And I just loved I loved the confidence at which he's like he was offended that she didn't know who he was, which I loved. He was like, I'm Daredevil. Like, because she's like, are you like, I forget what she called him.
A New York thing.
Something devil. She's like, are you
Gold Devil?
Gold devil. That was it. Yep. Like, I'm Daredevil. Like, what are you talking about? Haven't you read a newspaper?
From New York?
But then, that line, the ketchup and mustard line right after that, like, it is very daring to make that your color scheme. There was so many golden lines in this episode. Honestly, I had to write so many of them down because I was just cracking up. Such good humor in this episode.
Goodbye, tragedy.
Called her like a buffalo, like a sweaty buffalo at one point. I was dying.
The Sokovia Accords have been repealed.
Oh, yeah.
Huge, crazy.
I'm wondering that's obviously going to play into Cap 4 somehow, right? Because like that was such a part of
I guess
Cap
a lot
3.
of them, Armor Wars and stuff like that, all this stuff is like, well, who has it now? Pepper.
Right. Well, it's a big deal. Like we were talking about in Miss Marvel how when damage control's closing in on her, we're like, oh, it must be she's breaking the Sokovia Accords, and like we're having these discussions, but we don't know when they were repealed. But apparently, it's been a while. You know, wait, did they talk about the Sokovia Accords in Spider-Man No Way Home?
I don't think so.
I feel like they did in that interrogation scene.
I think they did. Yeah,
but I may be wrong. I may be making that up, or maybe I was just thinking about it a lot.
But what a throwaway line! I was like, "What'd he say? What'd he say?"
Yeah, right? That's a huge impact.
Throw that around like that.
Excuse me.
That's huge news. Like, that has universe impacting effect. Like, why are you just throwing that around, sir?
Well, you can imagine it's like they went out superheroing and they caused all this damage, and everyone's like, we need to keep these superheroes under control. And then in Endgame, they did whatever the hell they wanted to with time travel and all kinds of shenanigans, and they brought everyone back. And it's like, okay, you saved half the universe. Maybe we were a little quick to like try to put you under control.
True. Yeah, I'd be like,
well, if it hadn't been for the Sokovia Accords, they would have all been together and been able to fight him as a team.
That's true. The 5 years maybe never happened.
So it was their fault.
Yeah, maybe that case was made. I wish they could have made that in court somewhere with Daredevil making it.
Oh, I have a gripe. Mini crossbows? What the hell was that?
I don't know.
Why did they have mini crossbows? I loved every minute of this episode, but I had to take a pause.
If they would have at least been frog themed, I would have been okay with it.
Well, there's poison arrow frogs.
Oh, well, yeah, he mentions the poison dart frogs.
Okay. Well, but they also had like crowbars.
Yeah.
Yeah, which frogs don't have.
There's no crowbar frogs.
Right in. Is there an elusive crowbarian frog that I don't know about? I will retract my mini
We're looking out for the crowbarian jungle frogs. They're very rare.
Well, there was also that little super good bit of dialogue before Daredevil comes into the hallway where the henchmen are like, listen, I respect your choice to like want to do the whole frog thing, but that doesn't mean I want to be a baby frog. Again, just the dialogue in this episode was so good. There was so many moments of levity that just had me again, like on the floor. I loved this episode.
Yeah.
I love the response to that one too, though, where he's like, but I thought he was calling us tadpoles. He's like, what do you think a baby frog is?
He's like, I can't believe you don't know what a baby frog is.
And then that hallway fight scene, just like y'all said, it had money behind it and it was well done. And it got me excited for the Daredevil show.
It was shot so well.
Bounce Devil got a return.
Oh,
throwing that stick off the wall.
Have we seen him use the stick with like the with the cable inside before?
Yeah, he got that upgrade in season 3.
Right, I was gonna say, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Well, he had it in season 2, actually.
Was it?
Oh, did he?
Yeah. He was swinging onto the rooftop where where they were going to fight the Hand, like final battle or whatever.
That's so cool.
Like he had the cable and swung in, and then Frank Castle decided to lay down cover fire with the minigun. Like a boss.
Oh God, Frank Castle. Ugh. I'm just getting so excited because every single member of the Defenders is insanely sexy. So anytime we're going to get any of them, I'm just so on board for it.
I guess they cut out Danny Rand, though. He's the only one that has not. Maybe it'll be like a surprise.
Oh, I wonder. I mean, I didn't hate that as much as other people did. So, like, I'd love some redemption.
They left the end of that with him, like, he could still be in wherever with his brother looking for whatever the hell they were looking for.
With the guns.
They were somewhere doing something, okay?
Right. It can still be like that exists and it's part of the universe.
He's just not back yet.
Yeah. And I'm a little worried, though, because in this episode, and I think it's probably because they haven't made decisions yet, there were a few moments where Daredevil could have used some language that could have solidified the fact that the Daredevil series is still real. Like he was talking about how it's important to keep secret identities secret, and he's talking about how he's not going to talk to the cops. He's like, it's something you haven't had to deal with, but you have to protect the people around you as well, and all that kind of stuff. And it just seemed like there were some lines that he could have like followed that up with, like talking about his friends. He talked about his law firm and how they do one for us, one for them. He could have mentioned his friend Foggy, or like he could have mentioned events from the show. They're just like, not that he had to, but they could have solidified it in this moment, and they chose not to, which to me is like they're still like walking the line with like, is this our Daredevil or is this not our Daredevil?
Yeah.
Mystery, Matt.
It definitely feels like they're like, do we want to put that in, or let's see what people think? Like, let's see what people are demanding, and then when people demand it enough, then we'll give them just a little sprinkle, just a little taste.
I demand it. I want it to be canon. I want that to be.
Let it be known that the demand is made. I want the entirety of the series canon.
I do. Their chemistry, though, he was so uplifting and positive with
that
her.
shoulder nudge. that shoulder nudge, and he's like, thank you for helping me out.
Also, she said sure the wrong way to a drink with him. I would have said yes so hard I fell out of that damn chair. No subtlety. She was like, sure. No. Yes! Like, what do you mean?
Loud, resounding Philadelphia yes.
The stuff that Bruce said to her didn't get through to her the way that just those couple of insightful tidbits from Matt Murdock did at the bar. And then she's like, I'm taking you home tomorrow night, if not tonight.
I love that line because it's directly out of the Daredevil series. He says that exact thing. I think he's when he's telling Karen, maybe, like, he's like, I always thought that... do they ever actually get together? I don't think they ever get together.
Oh, no, they did. Oh, they sure did.
Okay, my bad.
Yep.
It was bad. It ended poorly.
I remember he, like, disappears completely on her at one point. After
That's when they were dating.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
Because then Elektra shows up, my favorite.
Guess you gotta watch it all over again.
Yeah. I just rewatched it with my mom, but I missed certain episodes, and I missed the end of season 2.
I love Karen, but I love Elektra. Like, Elektra's one of my favorite Marvel characters, and I loved Elodie Yoon. Like, if they bring her, I really want them to bring her back. I thought she was great.
They did bring her back.
I know, like twice, right?
Yeah, few times.
She's like the Loki of the Netflix universe.
So I had a weird moment with Daredevil in this episode where I thought that he kind of admitted he was a superhero in the bar. So in the courtroom when they're doing the case, he talks about how Luke only takes on exclusively superhero clients, right? And then in the bar, they're talking, and she's like, so why are you from, like, why'd you come from New York to do this suit? And he was like, oh, well, he made me a couple new suits.
Right?
That was weird.
I guess because she was a superhero?
I was like, wait, do they already know? Like, he's a blind lawyer. Why on earth would he need superhero suits if he wasn't just admitting that he was a superhero? So I didn't know. That dialogue just, like, caught me a little bit.
Maybe he felt comfortable because she was a superhero. Maybe there's like a superhero, like movie star code.
Yeah, but she's not a superhero even. She's like decided to live as a lawyer. So like almost like that's even more reason not to trust her in that same
like
sort of way.
Adjacent.
Well, like Daredevil said to her, like, this is not your world. You don't do this. Like, you don't have a way that you do this because you don't do this. Like, he's very much aware that she's not a superhero.
He also yells Jen before she removes his mask. Like,
he likes her.
Oh, for sure. But also, I think, like, maybe he already knew a little bit about Ribbit and Rip It and how he was sort of a bad guy, and that he was already kind of on the case, just like he's saying, when the law fails people, we go to the streets. Like, maybe he already knew some of that. Even when he gets the call and he's like, I gotta go do some work, I was like, oh, he's going to do some daredeviling for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe he already kind of was on the case, and he knew he was going to be like trying to pull her over to the hero side of things. You know what I mean? So maybe he was a little more comfortable. There was another line though that really bothered me for him. It just felt really out of place for his character. And it was in the courtroom when he says, he's lying. Don't ask me why I know. I just do.
The judge called him on it too.
Yeah. No, the judge was like, we all know he's lying. That felt really out of place.
That was just such a nod to, and I think poking fun at the whole series that came before this.
I thought it was hysterical.
I thought it was so funny, and I definitely thought it was like a very meta, like, we all know you can hear heartbeats, but that's why he just like leans over, is like, don't ask me how I know, and the judge being so snarky, like, we can all tell he's lying, like, you need to listen to his heartbeat to tell that. It was so good. I thought that was like very much poking fun at the 3 seasons of the old show, but that was just my take on it.
It definitely felt like they were ribbing him.
That's what I didn't like, I guess. That one felt like it was making a joke of him, like him making a joke of himself. Because he even though he has all these abilities, he functions in society incredibly well. No one knows he has these abilities unless he's catching bricks. Maybe he's just getting, like we keep. He's been in 2 jokey scenes now. Like, well, this episode and then the scene in Spider-Man. We've been talking about how like we've been speculating that Wong is like going a little crazy because of whatever, some of the lines he's had, like, what if Daredevil's just getting a little more like less careful with his secret identity. Like he's catching bricks, he's like doing all this stuff. He's like, I'm a really good lawyer. I have a super suit. I mean, whatever. I don't know. I'm having a drink.
I like to think that it's the tone of the show. I feel like when they're on this show,
Totally.
they get to be a little bit more goofy and a little bit more fun. And then when we go back to like the movies or the show for Wong or, Matt, it's going to be a lot more serious. And that's what I love about She-Hulk. And I hope that like more characters get to come onto this show and get to be fun and goofy. And we get to see this other side of them.
Yeah, their chemistry was so good. I want her on Born Again so much. I want her to like come fly to New York for some reason.
Anytime I had a problem, I'd be like, Jen, can you I'll fly you out.
I'll fly you out. Can you punch someone really hard for me?
Oh man, if she just showed up and like solved Kingpin forever, just one punch to the face.
Oh, they call that murder, Matt, not solving.
Speaking of murder, you know how they do that? They do those little shorts on Netflix, the shows. I really want to see them do one with Todd, where the Dora Milaje show up to his house to come get their goods back. When they roll up 5 strong of the Dora Milaje to come get their spear back, you're in trouble, Todd.
You just wrote the fucking perfect after credit sequence for this episode. How is that not the after credit sequence? Just the Dora Milaje, him opening the door and just seeing from the back like 4 Dora Milaje standing at his door. Oh, it would be so good.
It would be stellar.
That whole bit about him being like into Wakanda and like him and she was like, no, like this makes me uncomfortable. Oh my god, the cringe there was so good, and it was hilarious. Oh, I actually studied abroad there.
Oh yeah, what was her name?
So funny.
Todd is such bullshit.
Yeah, but I really want to see them go get their spear.
Matt, you mentioned Todd as your target for who is Hulk King, and I feel like they're trying really hard to go that direction.
Yeah, this episode. Well, particularly in this episode, they included him in the last time on, which felt really heavy-handed.
Him.
Yeah, they did, and then they show him right before she ends up there, and these people are putting the what are they called? The intelligentsia. That name is so dumb. His name is so dumb. But right before that, he's there. So I'm like, yeah, it seems like he's connected. Do you think it matters who the intelligentsia is now? Like, I care and I want her to beat them all up. But like, I feel like the damage is done. I feel like the intelligentsia did what they came to do. They discredited her. And now I'm assuming we're going to have to see her in court next episode trying to defend herself from this accusation. Not even an accusation. They like drove her to like going into angry Hulk mode and smashing a wall and smashing that screen, and a bunch of the plaster almost fell on some people. Like, she may be proving that she needs an inhibitor. You know what I mean? Like, is she going to have that court scene next episode?
Her coworker Mallory Book was like, "Don't do it, Jen. Don't do it, Jen. Don't do it, Jen. Don't do it." I
love that so much.
Love that. I wouldn't let my family watch a sex tape. My parents are in the audience, and you guys haven't turned it off yet. I guess I have to take this into my own hands.
Totally.
Quite literally.
Yeah.
Well, she put her own hands into it, really.
I don't think she would have been discredited too hard, because as horrible as it is, it's just like, yeah, I was dating that guy and somebody infiltrated the thing and did this, but they knew it would make her like crazy. But it's not something that I don't think that would, maybe it would get her fired, but you would have a better chance of defending yourself than, almost killing people.
Right. Well, it's the whole thing that Bruce gets in the very first episode. He's like, you have to learn to control your anger. You don't understand. This is going to get serious. Like, people are going to come after you. You have to learn to control your anger. And in that moment, like, who can control their anger? It's like revenge porn is being shown in front of your parents. Like, that is an incredibly emotional moment. And she goes almost like full on, like that first episode Hulk, where she's like feral. She's like, smashes the wall. Does that multiple times.
She-Hulk smash.
Anyway, I don't know.
She was looking at Matt when she said that, and it makes sense now.
Yeah, that end scene was so hard because the anger was so justified and
Absolutely.
so
justified. I was like, kill those guys.
I know. I was like, literally pop this dude's skull like a grape. Jen, do it. I know you can.
Don't let him go. And how come those other copy guys didn't grab that? I'd be like, get that guy. Get him. He did it. Got me.
We've been speculating Mallory whether she really is Jen's friend or not, though. And I think in that moment, her like trying to calm her down and be like, Jen, wait, no, don't do it, was like really like a really sweet thing. I think she also was trying to get her not to discredit female lawyers or whatever and all that stuff.
The way that she did when she went up and took the mic.
Oh, I loved what she said.
Oh, not discredit, but she was like, this job, it's hard to do this job when everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I always liked her.
I liked her too.
I have too. I've always liked her too.
But there's been a lot of speculation of whether she would be sort of like threatened by Jen or there'd be some like rivalry, which I think there may still be, but like I just like this. She kind of proved herself to me as like at least caring about Jen and not wanting her to like do something that would really get her in trouble.
Yeah. If memory serves, in the comics, they're just professional rivals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
There's also that moment outside when I think Nikki also has a moment of trying to tell Jen, like, no, don't, like, stop what you're doing. So another person who, like, clearly we know cares about Jen, like, trying to tell her to, like, not do this thing in the moment. But
well, it just sucks because this is totally justified, as you guys said. Absolutely justified anger. And nothing she does there actually, I mean, there's when she smashes the wall and the plaster falls, it almost falls into people. Like, she could have endangered people's lives. But, like, that's the thing. It just sucks that she has to have this extra level of control.
Yeah, well, she got. Like, they got her.
Yeah, exactly. They got her. And it makes me so mad.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes me so mad that that's their goal. Like, that just pisses me off. I'm really mad at the intelligentsia.
I think that, like, publicly discrediting her was certainly part of it. That's why they did it at the gala with like all of her peers and stuff, right? But then there's also this like second part of the plan we don't know yet with it, which is whatever they're going to do with her blood, right?
Yeah.
That I mean, like he like dated her and like slept with her and recorded it for that whole purpose, but then he also left and said he got the blood afterwards. So like I think there's obviously there'll be more in the finale with that, but like I don't know what else they're gonna do.
Well, that's the thing. If they do go with, I feel like it go either way or both. I think they're gonna have some sort of trial of her or some sort of. She's in trouble. She's clearly like she's busted.
She needs a defense attorney.
I really want her to call Daredevil.
I know, but I feel like
I think it'll be her.
It's gonna be what's her face? Oh, you think
Mallory,
she'll defend herself?
I think she'll end up giving it some defense of herself.
Mallory and her friend, because they did a good job with that last case.
Pug and Mallory will probably take some role in it, but I bet she'll end up like giving the closing argument herself, some impassioned closing argument herself.
I love that when Jen got called, Pug was at the table and he's like, "Let's go!" It's just the best hype, man.
Yeah, Pug too, and Mallory was like, it's harder than being a male lawyer. It's half the credit, and Pug started doing the snapping like he was at a poetry slam. He's like,
yeah. Him and Nikki both were just like,
yeah.
Why did they host that like it was a beauty pageant? And they were like these smart, educated, beautiful ladies.
Yeah.
I think that's what they were poking fun at. I think that was I think it was super intentional.
I was like, are they like this?
Yeah. Like they were going to pass it down the line and like then it was going to be the swimsuit part. Like it just felt like that. It felt like that so perfectly. And I was like, this is such another thing they're just like really, really good at poking fun at.
It's a shame they didn't get to the swimsuit part.
I agree completely.
True.
I want to see what Luke came up with.
So I was so stoked to see Ashley on the pod tonight because one of the things I noticed on this episode was how good her She-Hulk hair was. And I was like, I have seen some really bad CGI hair, but I don't know what they're doing differently. But this episode, her CGI hair looked awesome. And I wanted
100%.
They're like, look at by episode 7, we got this.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've had enough time to figure this crap out.
They really did improve the CGI all around this episode. Like everything was good. There other episodes I felt like there were scenes that were good and scenes that were bad. And maybe it's just like we've been saying, they had more time with this episode. So they've just gotten it more perfected. But man, this was that shot of her eye while like everyone's scrambling behind her in the red and she's got the green, half of her face is in frame. First of all, it's just a beautiful shot. It felt like straight out of a comic panel. But then also that CGI was just flawless, just absolutely flawless, beautiful.
Yep. And then the way she's just, you can hear the guttural, like, visceral grunting that she's doing. Just
I would have burned that place to the ground. I'd be like, this isn't my fault.
Look what you made me do.
Yeah.
The intelligentsia.
At the very end there, when she's like outside and they all have their guns pointed on her and all that, she definitely like turns towards the camera and makes this like really intense eye contact. And I couldn't tell if she was breaking the fourth wall and like looking at us as the audience, or if she was looking at something. Honestly, my first thought when I was just like, what is she looking at? And then I was like, oh, maybe she's just commiserating with me right now because I'm sad this episode is over. Yeah. But I was like, I also kind of thought she was like looking at something.
I thought it was her parents first, but then I thought when it cut to nothing, then I think it was the fourth wall. Like,
I'm thinking that it was the look to something off camera, and when it cut to nothing, that's just the surprise for next episode. Like that's the cliffhanger. It's like, what was she looking at? Oh my God, I can't wait for next week.
I disagree. I think it was fourth wall breaking, and my logic is because she changes demeanor as she often does when she turns to camera. So like she's always like, I'm Jen, and then she'll go, can you guys believe that she like has that sort of demeanor change? She was like totally angry and totally like, and she turned to camera and was like, oh shit. Like she like, you could tell like that was the to me, you could tell that was the storytelling part of her looking into the camera going like, I'm in trouble.
Guys, I think I messed up.
You're probably wondering how I got here. There were a couple of Easter eggs before the gala when Nikki showed up. When
are you going to talk about the makeup brushes?
That was one of them.
Wolverine makeup brushes.
So funny.
The Wolverine makeup brush when she like jumps into camera like sure.
Slicky slow. Let's beat that face.
Which honestly made it seem like she knew who Wolverine was, which I gets me excited.
Yeah. That's super exciting. But there was that little throwaway that she said, like, maybe there's the big twist where it's another Hulk, but it's red.
Yeah,
like, You're talking about Jenna Ross. I know that one.
Yep, I love that. Or I'll be fridged. This is so
Sprinkle.
Good. Such good meta commentary there.
They're just dropping these little nuggets, and I'm like, well, God, I don't know which one it is, and I want them all.
Yep, I love that. I just, as a lover of story and as a lover of this, this media, I loved wait, what is this scene? What is going on? I loved the confusion. I loved her talking to the camera.
What are we still doing here?
Yeah, like this should be over. Doesn't it feel like this episode should be over?
That actually felt so ominous to me when she was saying that. I was just like, oh my God, is something bad going to happen like right now? Like you're right, there is like 2 minutes left. I was like, oh my, that there was no music, but that really built some tension for me.
For sure. Someone in the chat said, and I don't know where they posted something like, I'm not going to say any spoilers, but Nikki seems really sus. And I was like, wait, okay.
Her friend?
Yes. Because they said that, I was kind of looking for it. And then I saw that scene, and while she's freaking out about something's weird, Nikki's kind of walking around like, oh yeah, it's time for the gala, girl. It did make Nikki feel sus to me. Like I was like, oh, but I didn't think there was anything going on. I think that was just the vibe of that scene was like, something ominous is afoot. Something is going on.
We're so trained for the worst. Mm-hmm. Well, everyone's like, what's going to happen?
And her line about is the next episode the finale? So this is going to be the big set piece that sets that up. Oh, like just so good. It's just so good. So perfect.
I feel like she did all of the commentary on the show about the show for us. And now we just get to geek out about how much fun it was.
Yip.
I turned to Ken and I go, do you see this thing? And he was like, I would really like if they get together. And then she was like, are you guys feeling this? I was like, yay.
So good. She's talking directly to me. That's so good.
She did a lot of things that I would have done in this. Yeah, a lot.
She made a lot of Ashley Pro choices.
Exactly. When they were in the bar and I was like, didn't Daredevil just admit that he's a superhero? Like the next line after that is him being like, I have pants on, right? And I'm like, you're right. If Matt Murdock was sitting in front of me and made a joke about him not wearing pants, I would have also immediately forgotten the other thing that was just said. So totally believable. I only caught that on the rewatch, right?
That was like his MIB neuralizer. Like, he's just this sexy man. Oh, shit, I just revealed something about my, oh, how about sex with me? Whoop, you forgot everything else.
In the suit. Let's take it to the bedroom. You know?
In the suit.
PG-13.
There's a little moment where she tries to remove the suit and it's just a little harder than she expects. Or like there's a little frustration moment where she's like,
that probably took 15 minutes.
She's like, where's the freaking... He's like, oh, it's this thing. It's just let me
Where's
get it.
the zipper?
Just let me get it.
It would have been real sexy if she just hulked out and ripped the suit. But it's a Luke Jacobson suit. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm just going to take like 30 seconds to talk about the heartbeat part because my heart was in my throat. Her heart was in her throat. He was here in her heart. There's 25 other hearts beating. Like, that was a good scene.
Yeah,
I really loved it. And she was like, mouth agape, you know,
leaning in.
Me too. Like, and then she's,
she's like, oh yeah,
what did you just do to me, Matt Murdock?
What kind of witchcraft?
He is a witch.
It's so
He's
good.
a witch.
It's so good. When she's like, when she's just like, he's like, your heart's beating fast. What? No, I'm healthy.
I'm healthy.
Wink.
So much fun.
I'm so healthy.
I
do Pilates.
So healthy.
It reminded me of when he's leaving the room and trying to tell her, it was great to meet you, but he can't get it out. Like he's stammering over his words.
I love that.
This made me want
so
like an
cute.
entire rom-com with them. The chemistry was so good.
They can't just
She-Devil.
Oh, ship them like that?
I ship She-Devil.
Okay.
I do too.
You better TM.
Oh, sorry. TM. Is it 3?
Yeah.
It has to be 3?
It has to be 3.
You gotta get the Hulk in there. Shovel. We'll just call him Shovel.
No.
Shovel. No. She-Devil.
She-Devil is better than Dare Hulk, so let's go with
Dare Hulk is
She-Devil.
so good. Yeah.
Do I dare Hulk? I think I do.
No, let's She-Devil.
Okay.
Also, it's so funny. I'm so conditioned from y'all. Every time they said the word devil, I was like, Mephisto.
Where is he? Where is he? I know he's here.
Where's that goddamn bird? I know the bird is here.
He's always there.
So good.
He's always.
Mephisto.
I will always remember Ash being like, why did it squawk 3 times? Mephisto! I heard it. It's happened.
It absolutely
listen.
happened.
It's 100% there.
I stand by it to this day. That freaking Mephisto the whole way.
I still don't hear it.
When Mephisto shows up, everyone who is angry, I want an apology.
Yep.
I would like an apology letter to the MCU cast.
Handwritten, sent to the P.O. box.
From all the 2-star reviews, because we guided you down some path that you did not have to come down.
You came down willingly. We talked and you listened. That's not my fault.
Matt never said it was going to happen, so it's not fair to give us, those stars.
There was at least a little balance on the cast. I was over there going like, maybe, guys.
And we were like, definitely.
100%.
100%.
It's going to happen in like 20 years. They'll bring Mephisto in. No connection with the story at all.
I'll be like,
and Ashley's like, I need those apology letters now.
Yeah, I'm coming to your house. You can say it right into my face.
I'm so sad that next week is the finale. That feels so crazy.
It's been a fun, longer journey, though, which has been nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say also, it started off so strong for me. And then, honestly, it did kind of dip down a little bit. I mean, I was a little negative about a couple of the episodes, and I was just like, oh, no. But then I really think it hit its stride. And, these last 3 episodes in particular, I've thought have been spectacular.
Yeah. I think this one, now that we kind of got a chance to get to know Jen a little bit by herself and her world and the other characters in it, then jumping into this last episode with Daredevil being one of our, all of our favorite characters. And we keep talking about the chemistry between them and I just freaking love it. But also I just love Charlie Cox so much from his stint on Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
He's also great in Broadway Empire, Boardwalk Empire,
Boardwalk Empire, Atlantic City represent, and Stardust, which is if you like Sandman, Stardust is an amazing movie.
Oh,
yeah,
I
it's
love
a Neil
Stardust.
Gaiman book.
I always forget that's him because I haven't seen it since I've gotten to know who he is. Even.
He also had that super long hair.
Oh, it's gorgeous, and he was in what's the one with Eddie Redmayne about somebody real. and he ended up having like problems and dying, but he was super smart. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
It's like,
yes, I'm so sorry that ended up.
What it was called, like My Universe or something. I forget.
I can't remember, but he was in that movie too, and that movie was so good.
Yeah. Okay. I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen that.
Took us down a journey.
No, I just freaking love him.
The Theory of Everything.
Yep, that's it.
Oh yeah, there you go.
I've never seen it, so I didn't come to mind. But
so good.
I'll check it out just for Charlie Cox. But I love him, and I love Tatiana from Orphan Black so much. I want to go watch Perry Mason. She was apparently in like the Perry Mason show that was on like the reboot
USA.
No, there's like a reboot of it on HBO. I think did like a Perry Mason miniseries. Is it Perry Mason? Wait, is it? Maybe I'm wrong. It might be some other. It was some like.
This is the segment where we all don't know what we're talking about.
No
I just
one's
did the
Googling
same thing.
anything.
Well, this is our show, and we can talk about whatever we want.
It is.
So.
It's Perry Mason 2020. They did a Perry Mason like reboot, and I think it was about like younger Perry Mason, like in like the 40s or 50s, young detective Perry Mason. I don't know. It's weird. It's good though. I've watched
2020 was a weird time,
right? But she's like one of the main female lead, I think, and so I've been meaning to check that out. But anyway, she's just freaking awesome, and so seeing them together, my heart was just full the whole time.
Honestly, I love Tatiana from this show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Me too.
Absolutely,
she's been so.
I didn't
watch
Orphan Black.
Yeah, I have not seen a single episode of Orphan Black. I always every time you talk about it, I have to take a second to be like, no, not Black Mirror. That was the awful thing. Because I started with the first episode like a person who watches Netflix things. But apparently that was the wrong thing to do.
It's the wrong choice, yeah.
We used to call Sansa Stark in Game of Thrones, when she dyed her hair black, she was Orphan Black because all her parents were dead and she was Orphan Black. And then when she dyed it back, she was Orphan Ginge. And so that's what I know about Orphan Black. But that was just our nickname for Sansa.
Was that Orphan is the New Black?
I think that's the wrong Netflix HBO show.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
I love that she's just had so much like heartache and stuff and loneliness throughout this thing. And the person who got to make her feel kind of whole with it was Matt Murdock. And that was my favorite part of it. If anybody else, like, to give her that like special moment that she really needed, and the pep talk and the other special moments, and it was Matt Murdock. And I just loved that it was him for her, and we know that there was nothing, it was a good guy.
Yeah, there's nothing sinister there. Like, we know that as audience members, like, we know that there's nothing sinister.
He said he would have bought her dinner first.
Aww. Yeah, and she's like, or we could just skip all that.
Yeah, exactly.
Same girl.
But I also like that even he gave her that good feeling in the very satisfying ending. But
giggity.
I really like that he also gave her the taste of being a hero.
Mm-hmm. She needed to hear from someone else.
She did. And so like Bruce could not convince her of that. And she's been living her, life this way. And it seems like Daredevil may have gotten through to her at least a little bit, that she's like interested. She's hero curious. She's like wanting to know a little bit more.
See, that's the thing. That's the difference between what Bruce was saying and what he's saying, is that Bruce was like, you have to give up everything you do. Your whole life has to end. Your life as you know it is over. You have to be a superhero.
That's called being an Avenger.
Yeah, right? And then Matt was like, no, I mean, you can be a lawyer, and then when that doesn't work, you can go kick the shit out of them. Like, you could do both things. And she's like, the best of both worlds. I get to kick the shit out of people who skipped over their justice. Huh.
Yeah, I do think that her not having a secret identity and not even being able to have a secret identity really at this point is going to make it a little harder than what he does.
Yeah.
Cat's already out of the bag.
Yeah.
It's too late. They've seen everything.
A mask. It's not me, I swear.
Yeah. It's the other 6'7" green lady.
Exactly.
It's Batman.
Yeah.
Just with the glasses, the nose, and the little Charlie Chaplin mustache.
It's not me, see?
One of those big green noses, yeah. All right, well,
all right, we're getting weird now.
Any other big things from this episode we missed out on?
And just another no post-credit scene.
Yeah.
I feel like the whole last 10 minutes was almost like a post-credit scene. Because this was like 40 minutes. This episode was close to that.
Oh, yeah.
Much longer.
I meant to look because I didn't, but when she starts saying like, oh, shouldn't
this is
episode
where
be
it's
over?
supposed to stop. Yeah.
How cool is it, though, that we have a show that can do that? Like, we talked about a lot how Disney Plus can make the shows whatever length they want. But so far, except for WandaVision, was a pretty like shifty.
All over.
A lot of them have been like either around 42 minutes or around 20 minutes, like depending on the kind of show it is. This one just did that thing where it was like, we want 10 extra minutes for this episode, and we want it to feel ominous. We want Jen to realize it's going on, like all that stuff. And they just did it. And I love that because of the format, we get that option. It's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited for next week to see how because I feel like they're going to stick the landing on this one. I know there's been some like shaky endings to some other ones, but this one I have good faith that it is going, especially with the way the last 3 episodes have been, that they are going to put this in a really satisfying ending for us.
I mean, she stuck the landing on several attempts this episode, right?
Yes.
She was jumping from high places, and
she had a good superhero landing that I thought was
really
nice.
did.
Yeah,
she really did. Right? Like she didn't have to do the 3 point. She was just like, "Boom, I'm here. What's up?"
And then she got him with the clap.
Oh, she got him with the clap.
That was good.
I love that line where he's like, "Yeah, I just have really good hearing, or I did,
or I used to."
Oh my god, when she was like, "Tell me you're not faking like you're blind because that's so problematic."
I know.
I had to go, I'm blind, relax. Oh,
relax,
my
relax,
God.
I'm blind.
Laughing.
I love that she said that.
Laughing so hard.
She almost went full foggy on him.
Yep. Have you been lying to me this whole time?
The whole time.
Yeah, I'm honestly so excited for the finale. This is what's such a good episode.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. This one I think is my favorite so far. It just like synthesized the comedy.
Me too.
And it felt like it was more. It felt more MCU than any of the other episodes, partially because Daredevil's there.
And I know a lot of people are going to say that just because Daredevil was there, but I feel like a lot of stuff was also taking up. I feel like Jen's like the dialogue, the writing, something about this episode just really stood out. And it was great that Daredevil was there, but the two of them bouncing off each other is really what made it.
Giggity.
Bounce Devil.
That's Bounce Devil. That's Bounce Devil.
That's what it is.
Bringing it back.
No, you're going to like this one, Ashley. Share Devil.
Okay. I like it. I'll share that.
I liked how they bounced off each other too, both figuratively, sexually, but also physically. The fight where they actually get to fight each other, where they like bounce around, and she is a She-Hulk, but he is such a badass that he just avoids every hit. When she causes that big ravine, and then he like spins his arms and like flips back up,
grabs the sides. Yes,
so good. He's like,
Disney money.
Super strong Blonsky versus the Incredible Hulk vibes from before Blonsky became Abomination.
Yeah. When he's just a super soldier. He says, somehow my ass unwhooped.
Unwhooped.
So good.
My ass remains
so
unwhooped.
Sassy. You guys are sassy.
Sassy ass.
One of my favorite parts about their fight was the very different styles and how it felt like it stayed very true to the Daredevil we know and love, but also like Jen is not a trained fighter. She just got these crazy this strength recently, right? So like the fact that she just like swings and totally whiffs because Daredevil just like dodges underneath it. I was like, oh, this is so fun because they are just fighting, and like maybe she doesn't even know how to throw a punch properly. You know, she just has this crazy strength, so everything she does is like super destructive and all that. But their fight scene was so good, and I also loved the like again the tropey nature of like two superheroes together. Gotta have them fight first. I was like, yes, fight.
Oh yes, and then team up. I love a team up. We all know.
I love though that when that was going on, like when she's trying to fight him, all he's doing is dodging and trying to get to the point that he needed to go to. Like he wasn't trying to fight her and subdue her. He was just like, cool, you swing, I'll be over here. And like just dives off the side and like looks all cool, swinging off the side of the building and shit.
Yeah. He's also gauging her, you know, her powers.
I freaking love when he's like, they're talking about the lawyer advice for Ribbit and Rip It.
Oh yeah.
They're like, he's like, wait, is the devil guy a lawyer too? He's like, no, I'm just a big fan of crime dramas or something. Lawyer dramas.
She's like, I am so goddamn into him right now.
You can hear it. You can hear it. She's like, what's that squish sound? No? So all the panties dropping? I've made the joke before. That was a bad choice. Poor choice.
Sorry, I just wasn't there with you, friend.
Okay, it's all right. I don't think anybody was. Matt, you can cut that.
I honestly thought it was like maybe a dead frog joke at first.
Oh, like, stepped on a dead frog?
I was like, I don't know, Jeff, go for it.
This is how euphemisms start. Okay, we're gonna go now, I think. Anybody have...
We can't be trusted anymore. Are y'all feeling this too? It's not just me, right?
Spun into chaos.
Everybody's feeling this right
it's
now.
over.
It's not just me.
Nope, I'm right there with you.
I'm sorry.
Let's keep going. Another 25 minutes.
Another 25 minutes. Let's see where this goes. Let's take this feeling and keep rolling.
Let's talk about our dress. No. Done.
You're done?
What about that super suit, though?
The super suit was great. It was great.
It worked.
I really liked her when she was Jen in the super suit, too, which I know is the point that it goes back and forth. But it was like a really cute little, like, romper thing.
She's like, what, 2'7"? She's so small and tiny and adorable.
Impish, I think is the term that was used.
My mother saw She-Hulk on screen and asked, and this is a credit to the CGI because it was this last scene. My mom was like, how tall is she?
Yeah.
I was like, I think she's like 7 or 8 feet they said in a previous episode or something. And she's like, oh, really? It's really tall. I was like, no, Mom, not the actress. The actress is like 5 foot something.
4'2".
Yeah, and I looked it up and I was like, oh, she's 5'4". And Mom was like, that's how tall I am. But my mom's been very funny watching these shows with her. I had already seen it at 2 a.m. And then she just watched all of Daredevil. So she's like loving Matt. I walked in this morning after taking my niece to school, and my mom was rewatching Daredevil. Like she was halfway through. She's like rewatching, I don't know, some scene toward the second season of Daredevil. And I was like, are you rewatching? You've never binged anything in your life. And now you want to binge watch all of Daredevil. And now she's like, doesn't know where to go. Like it's her first internet TV
Defenders.
experience. We started it. She didn't like Jessica Jones. It was too dark.
Oh, the show. I was like, not
dark.
the person.
And then she doesn't know any of the other characters. So she's kind of like, Defenders was okay. Mm-hmm. And my mom also tends to listen to shows and not watch them. And that's something I noticed watching Defenders. You have to watch it. Like there's almost no dialogue in Defenders.
Yeah.
Daredevil has tons of dialogue scenes, and then they'll have a fight scene and they'll talk a lot. Mm-hmm. Defenders is like an all action show. So it's not her speed. But then this morning I put it on and she was like, there's more Matt Murdock? And I was like, there is. This is from today.
Ooh, gotta watch No Way Home too.
For like 5 minutes.
She's seen No Way Home, but had no idea who Matt Murdock was at the time. So she's going to rewatch it and be like, oh, it's Daredevil.
He is a really good lawyer.
Oh my God, Jeff, yes.
We're back.
So good. All right. We're done. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us.
We're done.
We're going to go.
Perfect note to end on.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, it was so nice.
Absolutely. I'm so glad. Anytime you want to hop on one of these, if you want to come back for the finale, feel free. But we'll be back soon, guys. Peace.
Until next time, true
believers.
Daredevil fuck!
Bye.
I don't even know what's happening anymore. Thank you for joining us for the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. Available everywhere you get podcasts, and now a video version streaming live on twitch.tv/strandedpandatv and available at youtube.com/strandedpanda. And if you'd like to learn more about all of our other podcasts, geeky projects, and ways to support the network, visit strandedpanda.com.